Hello and welcome. Championship. You're coming in late, so please disregard a few technical here, there, and everywhere. Session restart is. Things will be back to normal, which just gives us a little bit more time to prepare and get ready as we are entering our third week of the championship. We are coming to you live from Kyalami circuit as a handful of drivers is about to begin the first race of the day. The lights are very much flashing. And the drivers are very much ready to take a flag to compete for 20 minutes plus one lap. As you can see, number 17, the Porsche of Trampel, is on pole today. Alongside him on row 1 will be Gemini. Then we can stack nicely behind one another. Gunset across from South Sea. But I guess we're gonna figure out the order as we go along. This season, once again, this is rolling start as the safety car is doing a 3-point turn to exit the grid slot, as they're quite tightly packed, as you could have seen if you watched the Sport Series races in PRC. Those are a bunch of loud cars on it. As you could see, last time those cars on the grid. Anyway, yes. Looking at 11 cars today, we're gonna take our rolling start. So for one lap, the Mercedes SLS engine safety car is gonna provide guidance to the drivers around the circuit, but after that it's gonna disappear and the drivers will be free to go for 20 minutes plus one lap to make sure they are as fast as they can be. Apologies for a couple of technical issues. Apparently something is not working as it should be. But we're gonna try to persevere through that and provide the best possible quality we can give you at this moment. So, as things stand after qualifying, Trampel is on pole, Gemini is alongside him. Then it's gonna be McLaren team, Southseeder, not James Coops's Maestro, Neon Tiger, Bin Haranja, and Cap, the new addition to the series. Rounding out our grid in 11th spot. The drivers are stacking up side by side for a 2-wide start. This is how they're gonna take the green flag this time around. And as we're gonna see the entire season, the lights are extinguished on the Mercedes safety car. And now Trampel is gonna be in charge of the field as the car pulls up into the pit lane, and Trampel is going to be free to start the race at any moment he chooses from here on out. And green goes the race for 20 minutes plus one lap. Trampel easy on the lead. Right behind him is Gemini. He's not looking for an attack early on into turn 1. Behind we see a couple of races developing. The cars are continuing their 2-wide crusade into turn 1, then turns 2 and 3. A couple of position changes as we see not James, Maestro, and Finn making up a few spots. Line of stern as we approach the second complex. Looks like McLaren team is snugly fit right behind the Ferrari of Gemini, trying to make something happen in the later parts of the track, and looks like Finn is off the track and having to do donuts to get back on it. Not sure if there was some help involved or he did it all by himself, but looks like Finn is not going to enjoy the first lap as much as the rest of the drivers. Safe in first place, East Trampel already building a gap to Gem Knight. McLaren team behind, both having about a second gap between each other, but behind McLaren team is a little bit more stacked as everybody else is trying to keep close for this incredibly long straight at the end of the lap. It is definitely one of the longest straights we're going to have this season, even if it has a kink. So if you are kind of tied behind the car next to you, you might have this opportunity to slingshot your way around and get ahead by turn 1. Turn 1 is deceptively narrow. It is a wide turn all by itself, but it is definitely going to give you trouble if you try to swing too wide. And you might be able to fit into turn 1 itself, but the entire complex from turns 2 and 3 might be a bigger trouble for you. Looking as we stand, Gem Knight is letting Trampel get away just a tiny little bit, but behind him, McLaren team and Saltseeder are hot on his heels still. Looks like Gem Knight is a little bit faster through the second half of the track. That Ferrari is still giving him a slight edge over the rest, but after that, at least on the previous lap, McLaren team was able to capitalize on his strengths and catch back up. Let's see if that's gonna be a case on lap 2. Meanwhile, we see Cap with a couple of good overtakes. From the last on the grid is able to overtake 2 cars and is now finding himself in 9th. Back to the middle of the pack, that's Gooses right behind now James still. Not looking for an overtake yet, he's, as I said before, snugly behind. Just waiting for something to happen, maybe for a mistake, or at least an opportunity to stick his nose in. Looks like the drivers are not quite ready to make a move, let's say, earlier into the race. Perhaps just settling in and waiting, and we know about the, let's say, lag issues James sometimes has. But perhaps Kunzes does not want to deal with that before he has to. Just 5 minutes in. Looks like not necessarily. Oh, hello. As I was saying that Cap was having a good race, he finds himself off the road with a little bit of a touchy against Finn. As Finn almost lets him back through with a... I'm not sure if that's a pass or not, but Cap is back to 10th. Obviously, I don't think there was a collision between him and Finn, because there was over 5 seconds between them when the incident occurred, so something must have happened. Here we continue with a little bit of a train foreman from McLaren team onwards. I'm sure he's not used to that position, being a train leader. Might have to do some defense. McLaren team is not able to answer the pace that Gemini is setting for. The gap is growing there to over 2 seconds, and the gap to the leader ahead is just as big. see that really top three are about as even as they can be, but McLaren team has found themselves at the bottom end of that top three instead of the very front. Something is definitely different here. And what else is different is Trempel very safely and very confidently in the lead of the race. By 2.5 seconds of a gem right now. There's no pit stop in this race, mind you. There is going to be a pit stop cycle in the next race, but there is a wobble from Saltseeder. And not James's fancy to move down the inside. They're side by side. Another fast lap from Trempel, 36.474. Here, Saltseeder is able to counter. Not James is looking for a move, but it's not going to be there. Saltseeder stays in fourth for now. It's far from over. Of stern, but one change that we've seen is that Cap, I believe, is in pit lane and getting himself a nose job as he comes back on track dead last. So it looks like that issue earlier on was more painful than he would have probably wanted, as now he finds himself almost a minute behind the train. 136.5 from Trempel, 136.6 from GM Knight, and 137th from the back behind. Well, the top duo is definitely running away, and Gunsis does not seem keen on waiting anymore. He's trying to take a look at James. No success as they continue. But that allowed Saltseeder a little bit of breathing room. Almost a second between him and now James. So maybe he will use that to his advantage and maybe fancy a move on McLaren team at some point. Well, interesting to see how two Lamborghinis over here try to handle their opponents from two different teams. So far, Gunsis lost a little bit of ground this lap, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see if he catches back up. Meanwhile, Saltseeder is still hot on the tail of McLaren team. Definitely putting on some pressure, but not really looking for an overtake. Just interesting. They're halfway through. I don't think Saltseeder had a solid attempt at an overtake. He's just holding his ground and waiting for a good moment. I wonder if he want to make a move faster than he would have wanted. But now he's deep in the toe, just 2/10. He's looking at it. There's hard defense from Tim. Almost all the way to the grass here, side by side. And a deep move on the inside by Saltseeder, but with a perfect line, McLaren Tim is able to get ahead into the corner. I wonder if the stewards will take a look at this move. It was a hard late defense from McLaren Tim. I'm not sure if it was fair, but it helped him stay ahead for now. Definitely a decisive defensive move from the American. And it's probably one of the rare times we see McLaren Tim actually fight for his podium and having to defend hard. It's a skill we haven't seen him exhibit, but it's a skill he's definitely showing now. Meanwhile, just ahead, we see that Tremble and Gemini are now 1.6 seconds apart. Either Tremble is having a couple of dreadful laps, or Gemini is turning his jets on a little bit and maybe trying to come back here. We're gonna wait and see for the times here. I think another one is that Cap at the moment is being lapped by the both of them, so that might have influenced the times just a tiny bit. It also means that this battle pack is now just ahead of Cap, so will be definitely interesting to see how that affects the field. Another opportunity by car 16. He's trying to crossover. It might be offensive if he manages to stay alongside, but he doesn't. He gives McLaren team all the room in the world. He's staying on the outside, almost to a line, and team uses it to his advantage. Stays ahead. I wonder if Salt City will have to attack harder than that to make sure that defending team is not given any extra space. A little bit of a mistake on the exit there, as Salt City clips the grass and now a little bit under fire from team's teammate. And now on the inside, a hard move into the headwind by not James. Unable to get in position, but now harder than told. There is another hard braking zone coming up. With one mistake, Salt City put himself under fire. But looks like he's given his opponent once again a lot of space. And this time, James takes it. And now James is through to 4th place. Another fastest lap by Trempel, 36.410. So he's making sure that a little blip in the middle of the race does not see the gap decrease too much. I see the South Cedar a little bit too passive. There is a little bit of paint chip on his car. Maybe he's noticing that, but still. Way too much room given on the defense, way too much room given on the offense. And as a result, instead of going into 3rd, he is now dropping in all the way to 5th. And the next cars behind him are two cars that do not like to play around. They're Gunsis and Maestro, and we've seen what they can do if given an opportunity. If I was Saltier, I'd definitely want that position back as soon as I can. Make sure it's James who has to deal with that, and not him. Just over 5 minutes remaining on the clock in race 1. A little bit of action in the first half. But now I bet a couple of drivers are anxious to make the move. And we might see some fireworks towards the end, especially with Gunsis catching up to the train and making his presence known. Definitely something going on with car 16 as he continues to drop further back. Now James is able to pull a bit of a gap as we witness yet another fastest lap by Trampel. Yeah, as I was saying, James is able to pull a little bit of a gap, and now Gunsis is within fire distance, 0.6 of a second now. I'm not sure what the German is going through, but it is definitely not incredibly good for his lap time. He's on board with the Latvian in the Audi. A bit of a different view this year than we are used to with the GTM machines. No specific advantage on this car when you are behind no movable wing. So every move they can do, they'll have to do by themselves and just their speed. You can see these cars are fast, and the electronic assists, even if present, are not always helpful to catch them and help them if they overdrive a car. Now we're along for the ride in the Porsche with Salzgitter in 5th place. You can see different layouts in all the cars. We're used to kind of similar DTM machines last season, but this time it's all different. The layouts are... the layouts of the cars themselves are vary considerably in their strengths and weaknesses. It's interesting to see different things evolve through the season as drivers get used to their cars and the cars themselves are being driven way differently throughout the field. Left. The field stretched itself a little bit in the last couple of laps. Saw a couple of mistakes from Gunses. Salzgitter is trying to stay behind James, but as we said, no DRS this year, so even if you're close enough to the car in front of you, all you can hope for is a little bit of tow. The rest is entirely up to the driver. Up front, as we see, Trampel, car 17, all on his own. I don't think anybody is challenging that car anytime soon unless he makes a mistake all on his own. He is cruising yet again with fastest lap after fastest lap, and if Trampel watches this back, please do not kill me for trying to get a commentator's curse on you. But so far, throughout these 18 minutes of racing, it's been an absolutely dominant performance from a German. Gemini is trying his best to catch up, but it's just not happening yet. And before I get shouted at anymore, I'm gonna switch to this battle, as Salzgitter is trying his best to get his 4th place back, 1/3 of a second behind. He did a great lap of 1:36.8, I believe. So he now got it right back up, and a little bit of a wiggle from Not James on the exit of turn 3. A little bit of an opportunity from Salzgitter, but he's not able to find free space. Behind, we also see a battle between teammates. Maestro and Gunses are trying to throw everything at each other. Everybody figured out that there's a minute to go, plus 1 lap, so if you want to make a move, it better be now. So car 037 is now very active behind his teammate, and they will have exactly 1 more straight after this lap, I believe. I'm trying to follow the tracker to see if Trampel is able to cross the line before the time expires. He's now in the final corner, so maybe actually get 2 straights. As I'm waiting for car 17 to cross the line, and he does now with 8 seconds on the clock. There's actually 2 more laps left. Time expires now, and everybody gets 2 more laps. That means Maestro gets a little bit more time to try and get 6th position out of Gunses. Salzgitter is still 0.4 back. He'll try, but he's still not close enough. You can see a little bit of a difference in lines between Gunses and Maestro. Maestro is trying to swing wider and maybe attempt somewhat of a crossover out of turn 1. But it does not work incredibly well for him so far, as Gunses is able to pull away out of a turn. Looking at the gaps further on, they seem to be a little bit more stable now. We are now spectating further ahead. Salzgitter is still trying to mount a comeback, but nothing there yet. 0.9 of a second, now up to a full second behind Ron James. about to take a white flag to get onto his final lap of race 1 for the third weekend. We have a car off the track. That's Horanjo. Very slow. He's not off the track, but he's crawling. And he's parked at the side of a road. Something happened to the German. He's parked up. This would be out of turn 2, I believe. This is our race leader coming past. And now he is out of this race. I'm not sure what happened to him. We are on our final lap. And Horanjo's gonna lose a couple of spots there. There might be a few issues on the car. That's the first thing that comes to mind is he's now officially listed as DNF. But something happened, and that car is likely to be the last car at the end of a race. I believe Cap will be able to erase his gap at the moment. And we are looking at... let's look at our leader, who is well deserved of the mention for the final lap. Car number 17, the Porsche of Trampale. Absolutely dominant race, 6 seconds clear of the nearest competitor, as he has a couple of corners to negotiate for taking his first checkered flag of Phoenix World Championship, I believe. I don't think he's won a PWC race before, but now he definitely has. Car 17 to the victory lane. Trampale wins race 1. Gemini in a Ferrari finishes second. Behind him, McLaren team and not James, 2 teammates secured third, and fourth. South Cedar dropped back just a little bit, finishing in 5th. Goods and Maestro 6th and 7th. The 8th place will go to Neon Tiger. A little bit of a carbon peaceful race for the American in 8th. No real challenge all around, but a solid effort nonetheless. 9th place will go to Finn, who is only now starting his final lap. And the 10th and final place on the road will go to the driver of Cap in a Porsche. But we have one DNF in this race. Horanjo finishes in 11th spot as I try to figure out what happened to his car there. I'm not exactly sure. But Cap is gonna finish 1 lap back, and now we're just waiting for the final car on the road to finish a couple of corners and claim 9th position. Car 101 crosses the line, and here we are at the end of race number 1. We're gonna try to resolve some technical issues on our side, so we're gonna cut straight to an ad break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with race 2, hopefully very short.
somebody in front of us. Welcome to Daytona. Checker flag. Fantastic job, everyone.
Hi, I'm Norman Mitchell, standing here in front of BBC Wellness Center in Houston, Texas.
Mid-County area is where we're going. Port Arthur, Nederland, Port Neches.
We're in Canovanas, the shelter here in Puerto Rico.
We're here at Jardín Pushkin in Colonia Roma.
The hallmark of disasters is you have to do what you do, you just have to do more of it faster. 2017 has seen more large-scale emergencies in sequence than ever before in direct relief 70-year history. The people who know the most, have the most at stake, are going to do the best job with the resources they have are the ones who live there.
Just received a large shipment of critical medicine from Direct Relief.
Some gauze, some bandages for people that are managing the response and rescue efforts.
You're standing strong, united with every other organization providing primary care and critical access to those individuals who have been most impacted.
again. We just have about a minute out of race 2 of week number 3 of the Phoenix World Championship number 3. I'm good with numbers. The same 12 drivers are ready to take the start. The lights are on the safety car. Just about ready to go. Once it is done making a 3-point turn again, you know, that's the mandatory part of a process. South Africa things are built different. But here we go. The cars are away. Green flag is set to on. And we are rolling. The starting grid is the result of race number 1, so cars are gonna be in the same order they finished. But first they're gonna take a warm-up lap, get alongside each other, and take the second start of the day. Rather than in the longer 40-minute race, the drivers are required to take a mandatory pit stop for tires. They must change tires. They are not required to change the compound of the tires, so there are multiple compounds available for the drivers, and they are free to choose whichever they want. If they want, they can go from medium to medium, for example, but they have to change the whole set of tires. There might be a little bit of strategy involved if somebody wants to start on the softs and try to finish on the mediums or hards. Or if somebody will try to hold out for the later pit stop and maybe gain some positions that way. Either way, the lights are about to be extinguished on the safety car, and we're gonna learn soon enough about all the tactics, all the various driver ideas. Here are the warning lights. And here's the safety car pulling into the pit stop. That means that Trempel, car 17, is about to take the field for 40 minutes of action at Kyalami race circuit. Green flag, green flag. Side by side, a better start from Gemini this time around initially, but his Ferrari is a little bit bogged down. Maybe ballast is not helping either. So Trempel is able to close down. But meanwhile, behind we have No James and Saltseeder side by side. Saltseeder is more aggressive, what I was talking about, but he's still trying to get to the inside and get as a winner of the battle, but he gives a little bit too much space again. And No James comes victorious in that battle, and Saltseeder is now under fire from Gunses. Cap stays in 10th spot. We're missing one car, so Horanjo is not here for race 2. Whatever technical issue he had at the end of race 1 persists, and he is unable to take part in race number 2. So just 10 cars in the field today, but they're all battling here early in the race. Saltseeder is playing a little bit of a roadblock for Not James. Up front, one thing we did not see earlier is that McLaren team was able to get around and ahead of Jebknight, and now Jebknight is putting under pressure to get that spot back. Trempel is definitely thankful for that in the first lap and trying to pull away. The McLaren team, we all know his killer instinct, we all know what he's capable of. We go further in the back, we do have a swap position. Finn gets around Neon Tiger and gets to 8th place. Here we see McLaren team and Jebknight still battling it out. Looks like Ferrari is still a handful to drive. But but it might be working out in terms of raw speed. It's just whether Gemini is able to handle that speed for the entire race. And so far at the start, it seems like the answer to that is no. Meanwhile, Saltseeder is once again all over Not James. Though the American is not very happy on the second lap. At the start of the second lap, there's a little bump, and Gunzes goes around. Maestro might be going around Saltseeder as well. Yes, he does. So looks like another possibly lag spike just caused him to warp back a little bit. And now Saltseeder is not happy because of it. Neon Tiger completes an overtake for 8th position and a hairpin now. Car of Cap we saw behind struggling a little bit in the hairpin, but now continuing on his merry way. Up front, Gemini is still chasing hard, but you can see even on the TV cam how wobbly that Ferrari is. And just to hammer the point home, we're gonna go on board with the Ferrari driver and see if he can pull an overtake. The McLaren team goes defensive here. Let's see how his car is at the exit of a turn. I see those tiny little corrections. Well, the car is definitely loose. See here, just a little bit of a wheel correction to the right at the exit of a turn, just to make sure the car is heading the right way, and that might be hurting his exits quite a bit. And you can definitely see this effect on onboard cameras. It's not very nice, but that's what Gemini is having to deal with, and that might be what is preventing him from a good result here. Sector 5, we seem to have an issue. That's Cap off the track, but continues. As I was looking in, that is Neon Tiger losing the position to Finn again, so that battle continues onwards. That's for 8th place. As we switch back to the podium shenanigans between cars 9 and 71, a Ferrari and a Lamborghini. Behind we see Not James pull a little bit of a gap from a trio behind. Gunzes, Maestro and Saltseeder still in a hot pursuit of one another. 1:36.954 from Champion, fastest lap of a race. And definitely quite a bit faster than everybody else on the track who are not breaching 1:36s just yet. Gemini had a little bit of a look, but once again he's very sideways at the exit. Looks like another slight misadventure for Cap, but he gathers it right back, so brief yellow flag as he continues on. Quite a few battles on the track, and looks like everybody is grabbing a dance partner. Oh, hello there. Gunzes is off the road, and he is off the road hard. He is in the wall and he's still there. What has happened to the Latvian? He was comfortably ahead of Gunzes, and now he's towed and he's disconnected. A big crash for the Latvian, and it looks like the car might be done for the day. I'm not sure what happened, but that's a huge hit. As he is now being towed back to the pit lane. I would show you what happened if we had replays available, but a set of courses, so we can only guess, but it's a huge hit for his chances. Let's see if he's able to return and maybe finish off the race. Remember that unless you complete a set distance, you're not gonna get any points. So for his own sake he'd want to come back into this race, but looking at where he was placed and looking at where his car was standing, that might have been a massive impact if he bounced off that wall. Neon Tiger is still in pursuit of Finn for 7th place now, not 8th after what happened to Gunsis. Let's switch back to the fight for 2nd. We see here Gemini's still behind, and that might come down to an actual battle on pit road. We are almost a quarter of the way in. We see Gunsis is now successfully on the pit lane. Let's see if he's able to rejoin the track and try to limp his stricken car home. Yes, he is indeed exiting, and that front is very, very damaged. As you can see, that car has seen better days with the cracked windshield, so that was definitely the impact. Maestro is off the road, Salt City is off the road, and 2 cars are heading straight onto the pit lane. There must have been a collision, but I'm not sure if Maestro lost it on his own. But those are 2 first racing pit stops, but it has to be due to damage. Definitely you can see damage on Maestro as he's passed his car. Heavy damage on Salt Cedar's windshield as well. So there was a little bit of mayhem involved for these 2 drivers. We're gonna wait and see if they can complete some repairs and get back on track within the scheduled time. Definitely lengthy repairs. The car shut off for car number 037. He's now trying to refire it. Salt City is back on track, so it's a shorter repair for the German. But the Russian is still on the pit lane, and he is now disconnected. Well, there might have been terminal damage for Maestro, and that's a disaster for the team. Gunsis is now 1 lap back, and Maestro is on the pit lane and not in the car anymore. I'm not sure what happened there. There seemed to have been a little bit of a gap between them, so at some point they came together, but I wonder if it's because Maestro made a mistake and later collected Salt City, or Salt City caught up and then there was a collision. Either way, definitely huge implications there between those 2. We continue with the fight, and now Finn and Neon Tiger, that battle is happening for 5th place. Salt City is now finding himself behind Cap in 8th, but he made his pit stop, but that was a long stop. So we'll see how much it affected him. Neon Tiger with a little bit of tank slapper out of turn 3, chasing his opponent. Definitely close battle. He's trying to look on the inside and maybe catch into turn 5. That's a very aggressive move from the American. It doesn't work out just yet, but Finn drives off the road into the turn, so the mental warfare is successful for Neon Tiger at this moment as he waltzes into P5. An interesting move, but hey, if it works, it works. As we're now over a quarter into the race, Maestro seems to be back on the pit lane now. Gunsis overtakes him, so looks like the Russian might be back in. But it's a disaster for the team. 9th and 10th out of 10 right now. Can't get much worse than that, can it? We'll see if Maestro gets back on the road. Looks like he does, and looks like he's back on track. Some ways behind his teammate. Unless something even bigger happens, these 2 are not gonna find themselves anywhere close to good point haul. Meanwhile, we look at Saltcedar. He is now catching up to Cap. He's gonna be the first target on his way back. Definitely does not want to lose a lot of time behind him, since his rivals, at this point, it's gonna be Neon Tiger and Finn, straight ahead. Will not be waiting there and might be able to undercut. A little bit off the track for Cap, just wide, and that allows Saltcedar to get through. It looks like that's a quick and safe pass for the German, who is now into 7th. We still this battle as we still await for the first wave of pit stops. Or I guess the wave of unforced pit stops. We've seen 3 of them. They all were for damage. I'm not sure if Gemini is trying to get past at this point. He is very close, but he's not having a look. But now Not James is slowly creeping behind them. So we're gonna wait to see if any of that is gonna end up in an overtake. But for now, we are approaching the halfway point sooner rather than later. We have another yellow flag, and that is Finn. That's the last corner. He lost the car and lost about 7 seconds to Neon Tigers, so that might be the American and Saltcedar as well, breathing a little bit easier. But as this battle continues, and we approach the pit wave, it might be a good time, as good of a time as ever, to go drop pure sound. And as we come back, a couple of things have happened. First of all, our race leader, Trampale, visited the pit lane. I believe Cap did as well, but as you can see, Gem Knight is now behind and he's beaten. There was an issue for him. I'm not sure if it was a battle or if he lost it all on his own. Once again, replay is not available, so we're not quite sure what happened there. But he lost a boatload of time. And now, it's definitely gonna be an uphill climb for him. That Ferrari might be proven to be a handful. There goes Trampale. And And the next point of reference will be Salt City, who's quite a ways behind. So currently Gem Knight is the second at the end of the pit cycle, but it's definitely gonna be difficult for him to keep his second spot. Meanwhile, we switch to the lead, where it's two teammates, two Lamborghinis. McLaren team and not James in the lead of this race, one behind the other. I wonder if they'll try to race or just leave it for later and wait for everything to settle. We have another yellow. That's Finn once again in the last turn. We've seen that before. Now here he joins. That'll be a car of Princess or Maestro, one or the other, catching up behind him, but there's a lot of difference between the two. As we switch to Trampel, who is now behind Neon Tiger, there was a pit stop between them, so Neon is not putting up any pressure against the race leader as he is going through and into third place. Meanwhile, side by side for the lead. That's car 73, and that's into turn 1. Not James takes the lead from McLaren Tim, and that might be huge for the pit stop cycle. Not sure how teammates are gonna sell that on the pit lane, but on the track, Not James takes the lead, and car 73 is now in charge. Neon Tiger, the next car to hit the pit lane. Let's see where he joins in regards of Salt Cedar and Finn. Salt Cedar caught a couple of seconds, so he might be able to be close or in front. Let's actually track him for a brief moment. Here he comes, and here is the rejoin of Neon Tiger you saw on the left. There he is, and Salt Cedar is able to get in front of him. So looks like the damage is mitigated a little bit by the German, but he's good 20 seconds behind Gem Knight. Will be interesting to see in regards of, well, Gem Knight and Trampel. It's now 11 seconds between him and the net leader of the race. But this duo might disagree with that lineup. So Gem was about 8 seconds back, but that has a relatively free track as I'm looking at the roadmap. The next car in front will be Trampel, who's now catching a couple of lapped cars. That would be Cap, he's trying to pass here into the corner, and a little bit wide for Cap. I'm not sure if there was contact. Definitely will need to look back at that and see if there was anything between the two. We are slowly creeping over the halfway mark. 19 minutes left. Trampel is in third place, but he will inherit the lead, I believe. Gem at 10 seconds back, so he's definitely putting up a couple of quick laps here. Let's see if this will be enough to mitigate his loss to Not James and McLaren team, who are yet to stop. Speaking of which, here comes McLaren team. He is the first one to come in from behind James, so we'll see if he's able to undercut his own teammate and upset James here. Upset Gem here, who, as I'm getting the word, had a little bit of a disagreement with his Ferrari. So it's a self-inflicted wound for the American, and let's see how much it will cost him. Waiting for Trampel to pass, as he does right now. Well, Trampel is in front, but not much. You saw that white car. That white car ahead is Trampel. So the gap is gonna be roughly 5 seconds, and Gemad is currently in the middle of a straight. So that gap between him and McLaren Tim is quite severe. And if you saw the other car, the other Lamborghini is gonna be, well, it was in front of Tim. Let's see if he keeps going here. If he comes back on the pit lane to match his teammate and try to just deal with this race on track rather than in the pits. No, he stays out. 17 minutes left, and it looks like our leader elects to stay a little bit further on track. Looking at Goods, he's now 42 seconds back from Cap. He's pulling a significant... He's trying to nullify the gap as much as he can. I'm not sure if he'll be able to do that, but definitely not for lack of trying. So the Latvian is trying to get an extra point or two out of this situation. Doesn't look like we have any gaps close enough for a direct fight. At least not until James is done with his pit stop. I believe he is the last car. We have an issue in sector 10, that's Cab, but he is back and going successfully. It's a short yellow. So that means a couple more seconds disappeared from his gap from Gunzer, so gonna keep an eye on that. There's our race leader, car 73. He's chasing, I believe that is Finn, in order to lap him. Which might be a great time for not James to jump into the pit lane, to not deal with this lap traffic. As he does, very smart decision from car 73. Use the pit stop to deal with traffic issues, to deal with blue flags accordingly. He is the last car to make his mandatory stop. We switch to his teammate. McLaren team, I'm pretty sure Trempel will go through and into the lead. But what we're interested in is James's teammate. 50 minutes to go. And that might be an interesting race from the pit lane. Car number 2, Trempel, is about to pass back for the lead. But here is Tim, and waiting to see where James is. James is moving. Tremble with 36.4 kill lap, and there's the car of James out the pit lane and still in front. But there might be a race, and James rejoins in front. He will need to heat up his tires. So if Tim is to strike back, it needs to be on this lap. The duel of the Americans, the duel of Californians. A green yellow flag and not 0.4. Every car seems to be moving just fine. Gemini finds himself 7 seconds back, so no significant time difference between where he was and where he is now. In regards to this duo, definitely did not gain too much. Looks like the car ahead is Maestro, and his rear wing is all kinds of misaligned. Definitely a huge hit there, which was not fixed properly. And now this is gonna be, this might be a factor with this fight behind him. 2 teammates still battling hard. The headlights are on. We are not yet reaching the stage of light flashing, which would be an ultimate dick move between teammates, thinking about it. But both of them need points, and I don't think any team tactics will be employed here. McLaren team is right on the tail, but he is not able to finalize the pass just yet, so looks like if a pass was to happen, it will have to be on the road rather than as a result of a pit cycle. 136.8 from Gemnat. That's a really good lap. That is his best lap of the race. Best lap of Tim is 137.1. So definitely a good start, but with just 12 minutes to go, I'm not sure that's going to be enough. Speaking of 12 minutes to go, Gibbs is now 23 seconds back of Cap. He's trying to raise that deficit as much as he can, and he might just be able to do that. We're gonna wait and see. Definitely a huge time difference between past laps. The difference is 5 seconds. It might just be enough. 138.5. As you can see, Gun says the best being 37.6. He's definitely still damaged. He's not putting up the greatest laps of his life, and looks like Maestro is being reasonable, just letting the two cars through, not putting up any fight and not trying to be involved in this battle. Second and third, one behind the other, with the clock ticking down. We're gonna be waiting for that final battle between teammates, as now we go to our final pure sound of the day. under 8 minutes to go, and looks like Not James is pulling away from McLaren team. The dual podium is in sight, but it's not the podium team would have wanted, as he's stuck in 3rd place once again. Now behind a different car. For the first race it was a Ferrari. Now it's a Lamborghini in familiar colors, but the result is all the same. Just 32 points for him. Gem Knight is 6.6 behind. He's definitely catching. He gained almost a full second on McLaren team, but with the clock ticking down, I am definitely not sure it's gonna be enough for a sufficient battle. He needs to catch and then pass a guy who is not easy to pass. That's definitely gonna be interesting for the last few minutes. As for the battle for 8th place, we might go on board with Gunses for this one, as he's rapidly trying to wheel a destroyed vehicle around the track. Catch up to Cap here. The gap is down to 5 seconds. He can see his target up ahead, and he has 6 minutes to pass him. Last 1 lap. You can see and hear like all kinds of rattling in this car. That Audi is definitely not healthy. I feel like it's anything but healthy. But it's still going, surprisingly. And it still gives us the opportunity to gain some points back. See, he's definitely much faster as he navigates the sweeper. And into the final couple of corners, here's his target, Cap. This is the battle for position now. Into the right hand and the last turn. And into the pit lane. I wonder if no tire change was made when he left the pits last time. That is actually an opportunity I did not consider. That he did not do his mandatory stop when he visited the pits last time. So that whole pumping up I did was for absolutely nothing. As Guts is back in the pit lane for his stop, he joins the track. That looked like a very regular stop. He's gonna find himself in front of our leaders here. Well, not really, not leaders. I believe Trampel is through, but it's gonna be Finn, then Gunses, and then Noah James and McLaren team, or rather Gunses than Finn. You see that 101 car is a lap traffic. Careful, please don't take out our podium as he lets James through. McLaren team will be the next one. Trying to be as careful as possible not to influence anything. Meanwhile, Gemini at 5.8, 5.7 back. He's trying his damnedest to catch up, but it might be just out of reach. Then again, if Finn is in the way for a little bit, once again, he has the right to not yield. He just has to not... Oh, I think Gunses is off. Yes. Gunses is off the road. And he's not in a hurry to get back on track. I believe Finn let him through relatively quickly. So now we're looking at Gemini as the next car, 6 seconds back. He's gonna navigate both lapped cars. I don't think it's gonna be enough for him here. 36.348 for Trampel, and it's not even the fastest lap. 136.217 was his fast one. Fast 17, once again with complete and utter domination over the field here. Ridiculous lap times. For comparison, Trampel's fastest lap is 136.217. The next fastest is 136.2 36.941 of Not James. This is just ridiculous. 7/10, even more per lap. Whatever that Porsche has, it's clearly working on this track. Brilliant race. Not James is losing track. McLaren team actually having a good couple of laps. He's almost within a second of his teammate here. Not James is maybe a little bit too relaxed here with 2 minutes to go. We might have a battle on our hands at the end. 1 second left. The leader crosses the line with 140 left, so safe to say we're gonna have 3 more laps of this race. The leader is gonna cross the start-finish lap with a few seconds to spare, unless he slows down a bit, which he... The funny thing is, Tremble can afford to just lose a couple seconds, slow down, and cross the line after time expires. 5.8 for Gemini, but he is now being caught up on Finn, so he's gonna lose a little bit of time. Finn is trying to be as considerate as possible, goes wide, opens up the inside line for him to use as Champel goes through. Meanwhile, this is the closest gap we have, 1 second between 2 teammates, and this is still a podium fight. .7 seconds left. McLaren team is starting to put on some pressure to go on board with the Lamborghini. The leader crosses the line, 7 seconds to go, 2 more laps. Team has 2 more laps to get himself a second place. No team orders here, just pure racing. He's trying to send it on the inside, but James is able to brake just late enough. 0.3 of a second. The time has officially expired. And now this is the battle to watch out for. 2 Lamborghinis. 2 Californians. 2 teammates. With the inconsistent placement of... As I was about to say, with inconsistent placement of James' car, I'm gonna bet the team's best bet is gonna be the start-finish straight. It has to be. It's the only place where he can do it safe without compromising both of their races. He needs to be close enough at the final turn and needs to pull a slingshot into turn 1. That's exactly how James passed him. That's exactly what he has to do to pass him back without almost sacrificing both of their races. Let's see, they're now in sector 3. Gonna navigate just 2 turns. Officially white flag for our leader in race number 2. 0.6 between them. That's a large gap to be erased on one straight, and team goes wide. A little bit of understeer. 4.8 for Gemini, not close enough unless these two have a battle of their lives. 0.7, not close enough. Team not even trying to have a go. And it's the final lap of the race. He'll need to find a creative sport for overtaking if he wants that second place. 0.8. Not going his way here. a little bit too loose, a little bit too tight, and a little bit too slow to get there. .7. Tim is not done yet, but he is still not close enough to make a move. I bet if this was a different team and a different driver, he would have tried it, but it's his teammate. How do you race your teammate hard? Especially this relatively early in the championship, we're not even at the halfway point. So if you compromise 2 races, especially with your rivals like Gunther and Maestro being dead last in this race due to crashes and issues, you just can't afford this. And I believe Tim knows that. And as our winner crosses the finish line, Champel wins and sweeps the weekend. Pole position and 2 wins. And what just happened? Not James gets out of the way, and the position swap between McLaren team and not James. Oh, that might be a severe case of team tactics. We'll have to look back at final turn, but I don't think anything happened regarding the error. James was on the line he was not supposed to be on, far on the inside. So that might be the team orders I was talking about, but we'll have to watch that back. As Tim gets 2nd place at the line. Salt Cedar finishes 5th. Neon Tiger is gonna cross the line in 6th position, Finn in 7th, Cap in 8th, Gunses and Maestro 9th and 10th respectively. And that might be one time where I can't wait to get some interviews post-race to figure out what the hell just happened. But anyway, trying to find the car, but I think he's he's gone for now, so we'll switch to pit lane view. We can get someone to talk to us here. In the booth. Okay. Definitely the first driver. Let's see if I can set it up. Well, definitely the first driver I want to talk to. The driver who was 3rd for almost the entire second half of the race, but on the line up to 2nd. Tim, do you hear us in the booth?
Yeah. Hey, Georgian. What's up?
You bet there's only one question right now. What the hell happened at the end?
I don't know. I thought he was letting me by, because I kind of did let him by earlier. So I just took it. I wasn't sure what was going on, mostly because he was lagging a lot. But he said he wasn't letting me by. He just messed up on the last corner. And that was I'm still processing that. That was kind of weird. But yeah, overall, great haul of points for me, James, and Neon.
Definitely a good haul, especially in the second race. You guys trading places. But I'm gonna ask this question since this season has been a little bit different. How does it feel to be in the pack? Definitely a close battle with Gem Knight as well. You had to fight a lot against multiple cars today.
Yeah, it was okay. I was just trying my hardest not to slide the thing. Like, the car's such a dog because there's so much ballast in it. But I made it round. I feel bad for Gem for that mistake. That was, well, it did relieve pressure on me and James at least. But, yeah, and then first race, Sauls was pressuring me. Yeah, definitely could use more speed right now, but I'm definitely enjoying the racing. It's been a while since I had to get my elbows out, really. But yeah, great stuff.
Definitely noticed your elbows in the first race. I believe I made a comment on that with the R defense on the inside. But hopefully there will be more of that next race. How do you feel about Sebring and your car? Definitely a very bumpy track.
Um, I don't know. I hope it'll be okay. I thought the car would be nice around here, but it just had all sorts of handling problems that I was ironing out the last minute. Maybe Sebring with its like slow, like not slower, but like more tight corners and flat kind of geometry. Maybe it'll suit like the more stable Lamborghini. Um, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Alright, well, good luck to you next weekend. And
Yeah, thanks for the broadcast.
alright, and another face we definitely want to hear from. The guy who absolutely dominated this weekend and I believe took the Grand Slam home. Definitely both race wins, a pole, all the fastest lap, and lots of lead-in. Trampel, hello, do you...
Hi. Yeah, just a bit of balance difference, I guess.
How was the weekend from your end? I don't think you had to race for many laps.
No, not really. Race 2, lap 1 was with Timberbed because I made an error out of turn 10, 9, whatever, coming up to 10. But yeah, that was the only racing I kind of had.
So, with this track, it looks like you improved quite a lot. Is that the track you personally like, or more fit into the Porsche compared to other cars?
The track is really nice, but not with this car. This car combination is a bitch. So I had to do a lot of setup work. The default basically let the Porsche snap on when you release the brakes. And I had to fix that, and now it's a bit too understeer, so I'm still not happy. But yeah, it's the best I could come up with in that short time.
Right, and yes, that's the question I'm gonna ask everyone. Next track, Spring, very bumpy.
I think it's going to be the Daytona setup that's going to be mostly driven. So we had a pretty good setup there, so I'm confident, I guess. Should be interesting though.
Right, well, congratulations with an absolute dominant.
I'm going to enjoy the ballast next time.
Alright, Guns is not in the mood to talk to us, so we're gonna talk to another Lamborghini driver, James. Oh, do you hear?
Yes, I do.
So, an interesting weekend for you. A lot of battling, a lot of gaining, and some losing at the end. First of all, what the hell happened at the end?
I was doing a Ford at Le Mans in '66.
Well, that's one explanation of that. But earlier, a good battle with your teammate, and in the first race as well, very decent battles. Does the track suit you well? Are you just feeling more confident with the car? And since, well, your teammate is rather fast, he is a reigning champion, and you were able for most of the race to just get ahead of him.
Yeah, I think it mainly came down to the ballast. Since I haven't been here for the past 2 races, I haven't had the chance for it to get any worse. So that played in a lot. But I think with me not having done a hour and a bit long race right before this, definitely helped me not be so low on energy.
And well, regarding the pit cycle, I believe you were the final car on the pit lane. Did the tires feel well? I'm not sure which compound you used. but you definitely lasted the longest and didn't see any time.
Yeah, I was doing a medium soft strategy, so I wanted to go to about 15 minutes remaining to then change to softs. Unfortunately, the softs never really worked because I don't know, but I think if I had gone back to mediums, I think I could have been able to catch up to Trempel.
Well, good weekend for you. Definitely lots of fighting and a good point haul. Luck next time.
Alright, thanks.
Pick again. Let's see if you.
Yes, reluctantly.
Well, not an easy weekend, shall we say. And first of all, I'm not sure what happened in the second race. Shed some light on that incident.
It was fairly simple. I was just doing my normal lap times, and then just the power cable of my wheelbase came off, and everything disconnected, and I went into the wall.
We definitely saw the, let's say the outcome of that from both the inside and out of your car definitely wasn't the most healthy Audi we've ever seen. But we've seen you come into the pits for the second time. I assume you did not take tires during the job?
I wasn't sure because I needed to connect my wheel back again, so since I teleported to the pits, I wasn't sure if that counted as a pit stop or not, so I just did another one, just in case to be classified.
Well, definitely not the best weekend for your team. And the next race being at Sebring. Are you hopeful for a bounce back on a very bouncy track?
Hopefully it will go better next time around. We'll see what the new bounce performance will be. Hopefully we'll be able to bring the fight back.
It's definitely...
Yeah, especially to Tim's team.
You're definitely gonna get less restricted, I promise you that.
Yes, that will be great. And there are some good straights at Sebring, so that will be helpful.
Alright, well, looking forward to see the battle with the Californian guys.
Right, yeah. Yeah, we'll see what it brings. I'll see you next time.
Well, I believe that's gonna be it for me for today. Definitely exciting races, not the biggest of fields, but still plenty of battles throughout, some drama, and close finishes, and obviously, watching Phoenix Racing Club, a few spectacular crashes. Next time, hopefully we're gonna see just as much action as we move to Sebring. But until then, thank you all so very much for watching. This has been a pleasure, and this